Hello everyone, let's go ahead and get started with our last video of Mabry Mill. And I will tell you a couple of things that I did in between video 3 or part 3 and part 4. I softened everything except for the mill. I also went in and did a little bit more here with the flowers in the foreground. So my plan is to finish today and be quick about shoring up the water line, sharpening the mill and the background, which hopefully will allow for the foreground to be fuzzy and the background, the upper 2/3, to be sharp. So let's begin. I'm using the Aqua Elite brushes that I did run down to Michael's to get. I've got a 4, a 3, and an 8. I really do enjoy the points. I've got the Scepter Gold, and this is just an oddball. I want to say it's a sapphire. So for the most part, we're working with Aqua Elites, although if I do need to get in with some heavy water, I've got a Scepter Gold Series 2, and this is probably an 11 or most likely to be a 10. Okay, let's begin. So my first step today will be to dampen this background so that I can put in the tree line. I'm starting with the number 8 brush, and I'm going for a mix of cobalt blue, to begin with. I want it strong. And I'm just going to do some indication of the trees. I like that this tree is standing very tall. These are starting to move out at an angle that pleases my eye. So really, this is just an indication of shapes. I'm going to add a little bit of Crimson Lake to it and move over here. And work some larger areas. I'm trying to hold on to what's already there. And there are some trees. This is a bit of negative painting. Ooh, I like that color. Breaking that up just a little. I don't want this to get too hard. There we go. I can always just a little of that. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the purple and I'm going over here. I'll be back to that purple as we move into the building of the mill, but I want to break that up a little. I didn't mean for that to all run together. Okay, back to the purple. Just a dot here, a dot there. Should be enough. I'm mixing up a little more purple, Crimson Lake, and the cobalt blue. I'm going to work some negative painting. Building on to what's already there. Breaking up that roof line a little bit. And hoping this might allow it to read a little bit better in there. I really am just looking at the shapes and trying to suggest. And because this is dry paper, I am going to soften it with my wet brush. Just to give it a little softness there. Okay, back to the purple. I think I'm gonna add a little. More to the beams. Now, I'm just gonna make a confession here and tell you I don't know what I'm painting. I don't understand what the mill is all about as far as the construction and where everything happens to be, but I am trying to stick with what I see. So if there's anything that you can remember from today's video, it would be that we don't have to totally understand what it is and how things are constructed. But if we paint what we see, they will read. So I'm counting on that, everyone. And you can see why I really do enjoy this brush, because for something small like this and filled with detail, this little brush allows me to almost paint like I would hold a pencil. So that's what I'm doing. I'm sketching and painting. All right, with a bit of water on my brush, I am going around this whole water wheel. It feels kind of scary, but I'm going to count on what is underneath showing through. All the way across. Sharpening those values. And I think that does help. So this can feel a little spotty, and I can come back later and just soften it up. I'm very pleased with the colors. I have to tell you that if you get a good color note and it harmonizes here, it's likely that it will harmonize here. All right, let's move on with this purple. I'm going to add just a little more crimson and push it to the raspberry. There it is. And I'm going to go over some of these areas. With the raspberry. I'm tying everything together now, hopefully. And you can see that it is sharpening up a bit. So let's see with the paper being damp, if that allows for, that helps, I think. It ties the mill into the background. And lightening up. paint is still wet. So I'm dragging it right down the roof. And this roof line is a little pinker. There. Well, I like that. There we go. And back to the blue. Softening. So I'd like to just say this again, that what is underneath is just as important, if not more important, than what's on top. Because I'm counting on what's underneath showing through. So this work is a little quicker, really. And I am trying to keep my eye on the values, so I'm going to lift that right out of there. Back to the Crimson Lake and the Cobalt Blue. I'm following the shoreline now. I've got the side of my pencil, my brush. See, I'm thinking of it like a pencil. I'm shading. And I'm going back. All right. And let's soften that. Into the water. All right, let's give it. So it's starting to read some earthy tones. And that's good. My focus is a little stronger now. Back. Same color, the purple. Well, I guess I'm pleasantly surprised, everyone, because I didn't know how well this would turn out. And I'm still holding my breath, but I'm happy. I'm happier with it now. All right, back to the purple. I'm moving. I might not. I don't know if I need to be real, if I need to go down here into the flower and shore up. Okay, we can try it. Touching this to really ground the mill with the shoreline. Just lifting this out a little. And I'm going to drop some orange in there. Oh, I like that. You know, sometimes you just put something down and you go, oh, that's so right. And then, of course, there are other times that you put something down and you go, oh, that is so wrong. Oh, right. So I am happy with that. I'm still using the number 8. Now let's go over here. So back to the purple, I'm just going to bring our eye into the painting a little bit right here with some darker value. And I want to be sure I'm not going to ruin anything that I've already painted. breaking those shapes up. Careful that each mark looks a little different than the other. Okay. All right, let's look at painting what's behind. So the shoreline bends around. So behind here, it's bending. It's such a beautiful composition. There, just the values will deepen and connect right in here. I can even go over top. And this darkens up. So back to the Crimson Lake. This is glazing, everyone. This is where you've put down a color, green. You've let it dry. You've maybe layered a second time with more of the same. And then you add another color. It changes. It gives you a third color. It's called glazing. The difference between layering and glazing. Those are two values that are all very close together. So it's where I'm connecting values and colors. I'm doing that with my brush. Deepening that. And allowing the eye to move through the painting by creating the water line. So I really think that this is improving. A little green over here. This is a mix of Viridian and Aurelian. I'm going to add, I think, a little of this orange to it. And I'm going to work right in here. And I am going to go after a little more of the Viridian. I don't know if that's the right color or not. You know, sometimes you look at a color and you just think you see it the way you see it, and you realize you didn't see it correctly at all. But okay, so you can see that I am finishing it. I think there'll be a few more details. I'll post the finished work. But for the most part, I believe I've accomplished what it was that I wanted to do, which was to focus on the mill and not the flowers. So I'm just gonna go down here and just add a little more color here and sum this up with the green. I've still maintained the same brush. I'm pushing in over here. I mentioned early on in the painting that I did not want to finish this corner. So I don't know how I feel about that right now. There, that's how you connect a shape and a value and a color. You just break up the line. So my last touch right here would be to this is Prussian blue. It's got some wild colors, doesn't it? Okay, and if we've used it over there, we need to find a place to use it over here. I don't know if some of the leaves, that could work. All right, I will post the finish, but here we are. I've enjoyed it. I think I'll do a little more work, post the finish a little later.